Magpabakuna na para abanse ka. Ini ang inyo gobernador, Bong Lacson, nagahinyo sa tanan nga Negrense, nga magpabakuna na.
Ako si Bayani ang Bayani. Rest back sa COVID. Magpabakuna na para sigurado.
Hello, ako si Billy Crawford. Bakunado ako. Ikaw ya. Saan o ka pa? Magpabakuna na para abanse ka.
Hi! This is Waki Kiray. Bakunado na ako. Ikaw ya? Saan o ka pa? Magpabakuna na para abanse ka. Ganang.
Ako po si Jeffrey Tam, rest back sa COVID. Aba, magpabakuna na para sigurado ka, sigurado ako, sigurado siya, sigurado kayo, sigurado sila, sigurado tayong lahat. Magpabakuna na.
Talaga? Let me check. Grant access to my location? Okay. Pati email address? Psst. Remember, be careful in downloading and granting permission to mobile applications, lalo na sa location mo. Isang paalala mula sa National Privacy Commission.
Ako po si Jeffrey Tam, rest back sa COVID. Aba, magpabakuna na para sigurado ka, sigurado ako, sigurado siya, sigurado kayo, sigurado sila, sigurado tayong lahat. Magpabakuna na.
Besh, nakabakuna ka na? Amligan ang ikaayong lawas, magpabakuna na para abanse ka.
Hello, ako si Billy Crawford. Bakunado ako. Ikaw ya. Saan o ka pa? Magpabakuna na para abanse ka.
Kanina, tinawag na naman ako ni Miss Martin. Kasi ang ingay ko daw. Guys, ang hirap naman ng fraction homework ko.
Tingnan, madali lang yan.
May recital kami kaya ang daming practice.
Tatampo na nga ako sa'yo kasi hindi na tayo halos nakakapag-usap eh.
Naman eh.
Siguro, ikaw ang star doon, ano? Ano costume mo? Pakita naman.
Nahihiya ako eh.
Sige na. Please.
Nak, dinner's ready.
Sige po, Dad. Susunod na po ako.
Ako si Bayani ang Bayani. Rest back sa COVID. Magpabakuna na para sigurado.
Magpabakuna na para abanse ka. Ini ang inyo gobernador, Bong Lacson, nagahinyo sa tanan nga Negrense, nga magpabakuna na.
Hello, ako si Billy Crawford. Bakunado ako. Ikaw ya. Saan o ka pa? Magpabakuna na para abanse ka.
Wakikiray, bakunado na ako. Ikaw ya? San o ka pa? Magpabakuna na para abansik ka. Ganang.
Ako po si Jeffrey Tam, rest back sa COVID. Aba, magpabakuna na para sigurado ka, sigurado ako, sigurado siya, sigurado kayo, sigurado sila, sigurado tayong lahat. Magpabakuna na.
Technology is reshaping our lives. It dramatically changed the way we live, the way we learn, the way we work, and the way we communicate. Technology has tremendous potential to connect us with one another. But there are still people who remain unreached, disconnected, and deprived of digital opportunities. Tech4ED centers serve as hubs that enable skills training and job opportunities.
We have more than 4,000 registered users, and about 67% are women, and majority composed of students as our beneficiaries. And why women? Because we are gender responsive, so all our programs are aligned with the gender and development program of our province.
Na tutunan ko yung ibang skills na dapat sa ibang schools na dapat per years dapat maano mo lang dito ng mabilisan ng mga months, mga 3 months, makakuha mo lang agad tapos maka-work agad.
This program helped me by finding a job and of course gaining more confidence as well. I was able to gain knowledge about the BPOs, on how does the environment work and how am I going to interact with my future customers.
As of now, as I was the call center agent, so I see that difference because as of now I'm earning more than I have earned before as a tricycle driver.
Maayong hapon! Welcome to NOLITC Tech4ED Webinar. Magpabakuna na para abanse ka! We are immensely happy that you join us today in this another learning session. My name is Red and I will be serving as your host for this afternoon. When dealing with cybercrime, an ounce of prevention is always better than a pound of cure. Cybercrime, in its many forms, can wreak havoc in victims' lives through major inconvenience and annoyance. At worst, cybercrime can lead to financial ruin and potentially threaten a victim's reputation and personal safety. Our learning session for today is about Cybersecurity Part 2. This November 15th, streaming live over YouTube and Facebook. NOLITC Webinars is another pioneering project of NOLITC Tech4ED Center that aims to provide relevant ICT-enabled services and content to its unserved and underserved communities. NOLITC also offers various scholarship programs for our free online training, TESDA certified courses, and other special programs through the Negros Occidental Training for Work Scholarship Program with support of our Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System. You may post a greeting in the comment section. Tell us your name and where you are joining us from. We would love to know. Please share the link to your friends, colleagues, and peers, and let's all together learn. Before we start with this webinar, allow me first to invite you all for a moment of prayer to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem and the Negros Hymn.
O labing makagagahom nga amay namon sa langit, mahinuklugon nga laon nga tagtugas ang langit, hangin, kalayo, tubig kag duta. Tanda ining imong timawa, kabay ining pag-ampo, magadulot sa amon sang kabuhi nga himaya. Salamat sa mga bugay nga imo ginpaambit sa amon. Salamat sa kabuhi nga ginadulot mo sa amon nga himpit. Salamat sa maayo nga panahon kag ilabi na gid sang imo katutom sa amon. Bendisyone ang imo katawhan. Bendisyone ang ila mga palangabuhian. Bendisyone ang mga panggas sa amon mga talamnan. Bendisyone ang ilang nga paglugayawan sa iban nga kapungsuran. Kabay, makalabot sila nga walay sablag sa ila pagapadulungan. Kag ila binagid, bendisyone ining isla sang Negros nga amon natawhan. Inahalad namon ang ining pag-ampo para sa imo kadayawan.
Bayang magiliw kaya sa silanganan, alam ng puso sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting. Sa manlulupig, di ka pasisingil. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw. May hilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdinignig. Ang bituin at araw niyang kailan pa may magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhagit pansinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Ang hinigaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Sakit ka kapamilya, pag-uligay, pag-inay, pag-ibog, malapat mag-ari sa ating na probinsya. Magotod na Negrosano, isa katawungan, mapinalang tao, sa buwan na tangguhan na isakripiso, sa kauswagan, sa sikatao. Sa kasahan, takot wala may mapilit sa kalulong. Nananagos ka nagais na ako. Ang matutot na Negrosano, isa katawungan, mapinalang tao. Sa punat ang buwan na isakripiso, sa kauswagan, sa sikatao. Ang matutot na Negrosano, sa katawungan, mapinalang tao. Sa punat ang buwan na isakripiso, pagbulikan, paghigayin, Pag-ibig mo dapat maghari para sa kauswagan ng sikat tao.
Good afternoon once again. Greetings to our participants from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and to the other parts of the world. The center is one with the international celebration of the National Children's Month with the theme, New Normal na Walang Iwanan, Karapatan ng Bawat Bata Ating Tutukan. Thank you again for joining us today. Please share the link to this webinar, drop your comments, and altogether let us make this 2-hour session interactive. In 2020, NOLITC made a milestone when PhilSecNet awarded the center with Pandemic Resilience Award. We are also recognized nationally as Outstanding Tech4ED Center by the Department of Information and Communications Technology. This year, the 3 programs of NOLITC are recognized with Star Awards by TESDA, namely 2 Star Awards in our Contact Center Services NC2, 2 Star Awards in our Visual Graphic Design NC3, and 1 Star Award in our 2D Animation NC3. The star rating systems acknowledges or recognizes the accomplishments, innovations, and improvements that the center has instituted beyond the minimum requirements set by TESDA. The Learning Center is one of the priority programs of Governor Eugenio Sebong Lacson under his 7-point priority agenda, Avance Negrense. The center has pivoted to online training and conducted various in-demand webinars. This is our urgent and most accessible response to the ongoing global health crisis through providing relevant services and facilitating digital inclusiveness of communities. These webinars are absolutely free. To join, all you need to do is to register once and you will be given access to the entire webinars. If you are not registered yet, please find the link in the description box and please do register. Let me also remind you to fill out the online attendance right now. The link to the online attendance form is pinned in the description bar, or you may scan the QR code flashed on your screen. There you go. You may also find the link in the comment section, all right? I hope that you are doing your attendance right now. To participate in the open forum, you will also need to post your questions through an online open forum form. Please find the link in the description box, or you may scan the QR code being flashed on your screen at the moment. We hope that you could send your questions with us later. We will not be able to catch up with all of your comments, so if you have any questions, please post them in the open forum form link. Again, the link to that can be found in the description bar below. You will also be receiving a digital certificate, free digital certificate for attending this webinar online. You only need to accomplish both the online attendance and the online evaluation. Again, those could be found in the description bar below. I hope you're all catching up with me with some of our opening reminders. If you have not seen our previous post yet, you can always check out our social media accounts, follow us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you. To kickstart today's session, let us hear from the leader who is courageous and knows how to seize opportunities to change things for the better. Her deep sensibility to some of the challenges confronting us today directed the center in adapting and addressing these issues. I am talking about the Vocational School Administrator and NOLITC Tech4ED Center Manager. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a glad hand to Dr. Maria Cristina Orbicido for her welcome message.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to NOLITC Webinar Series. Thank you for being with us in a series of sessions that we have been conducting. This is our way of connecting and engaging with our stakeholders during this pandemic. I hope that you are all well and having a great day. I really appreciate you joining our online sessions. And again, we don't want to compromise our health, and the health of the community at large. These webinars are brought to you by the Office of Governor Eugenio Jose Bong Lacson under the Gender and Development Program. Amid the global wave of lockdowns, there is an unprecedented rise in e-learning. The pandemic ushered a pressing need to improve the digital literacy of children, students, teachers, and even parents. To address these challenges, we hosted this webinar series to provide free online learning experience to students, teachers, and all our clients who wanted to make their lockdown experience more productive and meaningful. We believe that we need to adopt a new set of standards in learning. We advocate for adaptive learning and teaching to deliver a custom learning experience that addresses the unique needs of individuals through just-in feedback, pathways, and resources. Our goal is to empower our stakeholders to unlock their creativity, promote inclusiveness, and provide a safe learning experience in a virtual environment. We hope that you will learn a lot from this session, and I urge you to strive for excellence. Don't put limits to yourselves. Stretch yourselves to the limits and be the person that you want to be. Again, welcome to this webinar. Enjoy learning. Let's stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other. NOLITC inspires, NOLITC cares. Avance, Negrense.
Thank you very much, Dr. Orbisido, for that very meaningful message. If you agree with the message of Dr. Tina, could you please send a virtual clap reaction? Right? We would really love to see that our online audience are truly engaging with us. Thank you very much. All right. So I guess you are all very excited to start with the main part of our webinar. But let me ask you first this question. Are you concerned about cybercrime? I guess you are, because you are joining with us this afternoon. Understanding exactly what is cybercrime, the different types, and how to protect ourselves from it will help put our minds to rest. Exactly. With many of us, thousands or even millions of Filipinos who are now online, consumers or we are become at risk through many types of exploits. Every day, we can see those horrendous news being flashed or featured on our national televisions. To help us gain more insights about cybersecurity, we will have a speaker who knows how to put this into practice. He is a PhilNets passer or the Philippine National IT Standards Foundation Incorporated, formerly known as the Japanese IT Standards Exams of the Philippines or JITC Fail Foundation Incorporated. He is the very adept ID expert of NOLITC, a reliable colleague, described by his trainees as always pleasant because he would always smile. All right, so we will have a very pleasant, very informative, very productive, and yeah, just overall an interesting webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming virtually our guest speaker for this afternoon. We have Mr. John Philip Bautista.
Yes, Ms. Red, good afternoon, and good afternoon to everyone joining us in this webinar.
Thank you very much, Sir Philip. Allow me to correct what I said earlier. You're not a guest, but actually, yeah, you've been.
Yes, yes.
This is already a part 2 of our cybersecurity webinar. Am I right?
Yes, Ms. Red.
And okay, so can we give our audience an insight on what to expect in this webinar?
Again, good afternoon to everyone. So in this webinar, we will tackle more about cyberspace and cybersecurity. So we could learn different productive measures in which we could repel those attacks in our organization or in our computers or laptops or cell phones.
Yeah, sure. Because a lot of us nowadays are turning into our devices in order to communicate, to do business, and to do work and socialize, right? Yep.
Yes, miss.
And thank you very much, Sir Philip, for that overview. And without further ado, the virtual floor is now yours.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So please allow me to share my screen. So the title of this webinar is Cybersecurity. This is the second part of our webinar series entitled Cybersecurity. So just a little bit of review from the last time. We've discussed those types of attack in which in which it is present in the cyberspace. So we have discussed there the denial of service, spoofing, man in the middle. So those types malware, so those types of attack are present in the cyberspace. So with this webinar, we will learn more about cybersecurity and cyberspace. So cybersecurity vulnerabilities in the organization. So we will discuss more about this towards the organization. So we have a quote here: cyberspace is the infrastructure of the modern world, and cybersecurity is the infrastructure of cyberspace. So first thing is internet presence has become a prerequisite for the operation of any organization. So which means most of the organizations, companies, schools, so they become more they become more reliant on the internet, whether it's their business processing, whether it's their human resource in their everyday processing of their work. So internet and cyberspace has become one of their major functions. So whether it is a government agency, a business activity, or an academic institution. So every organization needs an open door to the public with the ability to serve its constituency online and the capacity to securely hold data. So which means we are more vulnerable as of now. It's because most of the organizations or government agencies requires internet or they are using the internet. So all of the data are available online. So all we need to do is make all those data secure and have a great security network. So also, however, unprecedented dangers that may lead to costly, often irreversible damage in case there is a cyber attack. So we have here what we call the common organizational vulnerabilities. So in the definition of organizational information system, each and every functional requirement needs to have an accompanying security component addressing external as well as internal possible attacks. So we have two different types of attack when it comes to an organization. We have what we call the external and we have what we call the internal. So in this common organizational vulnerabilities, we need to have an concrete information system installed in our organization so that all of the security features will be applied. So most vulnerabilities arise from one or more of the following. So we have here what we call the data backup. So backup data intervals that are incompatible with system operation speed. So it is the CIO or decision whether data be backed up every hour, minute, second, or millisecond. So that's where the vulnerabilities came in when you are backupping your data. So probably there's maybe a deletion of unnecessary data. So so those are one of the vulnerabilities of data backup. So we have here also access authorization and authentication. So authorization codes and processes are often vulnerable for a variety of reasons. The most common are systems allow the user endless password entry attempts. In this case, the attacker automates the attack using a password generator that in a matter of time discovers the correct password. So this is one of the vulnerability of access authorization and authentication. So endless user password entry attempts. So when there is an endless password entry attempts, probably an attacker could automatically inject an attack towards that password entry attempts, and in a matter of time, he will automatically discover the correct password, and he could input that password to the system or any system that you are accessing. So probably that's one of the vulnerabilities of access authorization and authentication. So systems that allow users many password entry attempts, and the users writes the password in possibly vulnerable places. So system demands password change at frequent intervals, creating inconvenience to the user, and user makes minimal changes with each change, adding also vulnerability towards the system. So we have here present authentication technologies includes the following 4 factors. We have here something the user know. Example of that is password or PIN. So something that the user has. One of the example of that is ATM card, smart card, or USB devices or a flash drive. So something that the user is. So we have here the biometric characteristics such as fingerprints, we have retina scanner, we have facial recognition. So also we have the something the users receive. For example of that, one example of that is the one-time password or the OTP. We usually experience this OTP. We always receive these OTP passwords when doing mobile bank transactions on our mobile phones or online. So we're going to the next slide. So also, one of the vulnerabilities when it comes to cybersecurity is the human factor. So an unclassified US government report has revealed that the great majority of past compromises have involved insiders, cleared persons with authorized access. So who could circumvent physical security barrier, not outside breaking into the secure areas. So it means that one of the greatest threat towards a system or in the cybersecurity or in the cyberspace is the humans or human factors, because it has been a great majority of past compromises that insiders or persons with authorized access are the ones who are attacking a system in the inside. So also personnel whose activities involve the internet or other modes of data handling constitute a critical organizational assets. Probably it could be an IT or it could be a head. So those persons could be a vulnerability towards a system. So we have also here one of the vulnerabilities in the cybersecurity is in networks. So networks are the most sensitive and critical component in any organization. So this is where we need to effectively prevent, detect, and respond to security incidents. So without a network, there's no internet. So that means the network is the probably the road towards it is the road when you're referring to a car. So a network is the road for the cars. So the cars there represents the data, so the network represents the road. So probably if the attackers attack the network, probably it could steal data on the network. So that's why it is need to effectively prevent, detect, and respond to security incidents or security breaches towards the network. So the network's cyber defense requires the coordinated engagement of a comprehensive portfolio of security tools that works well together in an intelligent and automated manner. So it means it is a need for you to secure your network. Probably you could install firewalls, antivirus, so that it would be difficult for the attackers or the hackers to intrude your system. So not too long ago, all of the organizational data although network were inside the organization physical limits. So that means in the previous years, so all of the organizational data had been stored on the organization's physical limits, which means servers are installed on the building or in the schools or in the government institutions, in the government buildings. So that's some previous years ago. But today, the availability of cost-effective external data storage through SaaS or storage as a server, which means storage as a service, which means um, your data could possibly be stored in the cloud or in the internet. So that has created a new or another vulnerability in the cybersecurity or in the cyberspace. So data storage options are the best known for the best of unknown security measures. So this means that whatever data an organization stores, or at least outside its absolute supervision, must be reliably encrypted. So it means that all of the data of the organization which is stored on the cloud or on the internet must be reliably encrypted to also prevent hackers or intruders attack the system or the data. So the trend for external IT support, which has now reached the point where available, is infrastructure as a service. So that is, an organization only needs computers with web browsers and web access. Undoubtedly, IaaS can provide extensive economical benefits to an organization, but the level of vulnerability is unknown. So it says here that the level of vulnerability when it comes to storing your data on the cloud or in the internet is very high, or probably it's unknown. So mostly there are external IT supports like call center agents. So there's the one assisting you when it comes to your the security of your data. So that's another risk for you, or that's another vulnerabilities of your organization towards its data. And um, um, it's very difficult to assess the vulnerability when it comes to cloud. So we have also here one of the vulnerabilities in cybersecurity is what we call it is located in the wireless network. So an organization network and the associated assets are also threatened by vulnerabilities in the wireless internal or external communications. So while these three standardized wireless technology, the Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi, and the WiMAX do have secure communication features. So vulnerabilities do exist and need to be known and properly addressed by the users. Even though this wireless technology have their own communication security features, so we need to address this properly. So we have here in the next slide those tips on how to address these types of problems. So by virtue of being wireless and operating in radio frequency spectrum, such as network, are exposed to some threats that are difficult to defend against. So when you're using your devices and you're connected to the internet or the wireless or the Wi-Fi or any other devices that is connected to you, you are exposed to some threats that is very difficult to defend against. So we have here what we call the eavesdropping. So the availability of traffic analyzers enables the reception and capture the exchange of data very easily. So if you are exchanging data, you are exchanging confidential data with one another, probably this type of attack or this type of threat could collect the sensible or the sensible data that you are sending to the other person, or probably the other person sends to you. So we have also here what we call the noise injection. So this is the intermittent injection of the radio frequency noise burst, aiming at the corruption of normal communications. So the third one is what we call the jamming, a powerful radio frequency source transmitting in the vicinity of the organization units in the spectra of operations can incapacitate the network. Of course, the source location can be easily identified unless the source is mobile. So when we say jamming, so if you have if you have encountered when there is a big event in the city, so there's no signal, so they are jamming the signals to prevent cyber terrorism or probably a terrorism attack. So they are jamming the signals of wireless connections, the SIM cards, that cell phones. There's no signal in order to prevent those types of attack, because most explosives are being triggered by a mobile device. So that's one of threat or probably a technique that they are using, the jamming. So we have here also the man in the middle. So we call this a man in the middle because from the receiver and the sender, so there's what we call the man in the middle. So this is a case where an adversary with similar wireless capability is posing as a legitimate base station, mobile station, or subscriber station. So you are sending your data to them. So they are called man in the middle. So you thought that they are a reliable what do you call this, reliable wireless connection, but they imposes or they hide themselves as the man in the middle. So you are connected to a public Wi-Fi, and then you thought it's a safe connection, and then you send data probably towards if you are connected to the Wi-Fi, but then the man in the middle collect those datas, collect those informations, and it could be used for fraudulent purposes. So for example, if you are if you are using online bank transactions, and then you connected to the free Wi-Fi, which is set up by the man in the middle, or the person who wants to hack your PIN, probably your credit card number, probably your Wi-Fi password. So it's very difficult to connect in a public Wi-Fi network if you are unknown who's the owner of that public Wi-Fi network. So Wi-Fi precautions at home. Below is a list of precautionary measures that must be followed while using a Wi-Fi in a home environment. So the first Wi-Fi precautions at home that you can probably practice is turn off the IBSS mode. In this mode, the mobile unit is open to communications with hackers. So hackers may link and silently access sensitive information such as risk can be eliminated if the IBSS is disabled. So IBSS is in short for Independent Basic Service Set. So it is the connection in which hackers may link and silently access sensitive information when you are using your Wi-Fi. So the next one, or the second one, is turn on the infrastructure mode. So the infrastructure mode enables Wi-Fi clients to access resources on the other side of the access point, like printers, servers, and other devices. So we have here, turn off SSID broadcasting. Since in the home environment, one does not anticipate unexpected Wi-Fi devices. So surely it is not necessarily for the access point to broadcast its SSID identity to the world. So when we say SSID, for example, if you're connected to the SSID of SM, you could see there that there's SM free Wi-Fi on your network. So they are broadcasting the SSID of the Wi-Fi network. But if you are in your homes, or if you are in your houses, you could turn off that one. You could enter the ID or the SSID manually. So for example, if you are opening your if for example you've turned off your SSID onto your homes, and then you want to access the Wi-Fi by connecting to the you want to access the internet by connecting to the Wi-Fi, you could possibly enter the SSID manually without the SSID broadcasting itself in the Wi-Fi. So that's one of the technique in which your SSID is not it is not broadcasted around your area, around your block, or probably someone could connect to your Wi-Fi. So that's one of the safest way to one of the Wi-Fi techniques that will make you very safe when it comes to the wireless technology. So turn off SSID broadcasting if you could probably if you would know how to connect to a Wi-Fi without the SSID. So it's very easy for that. It's very easy. You could search for that on how to connect. So we have here the cloud computing. So this is one also of the vulnerabilities when it comes to cybersecurity or the cyberspace. So the increasingly low cost of computer and telecommunication hardware coupled with the standardization of software that has resulted in cloud computing. The term cloud computing refers to the new concept in the acquisition of computing power as a service. So as what I've discussed earlier, the IaaS, the Internet as a Service. So here comes the cloud computing. So it is one of the latest technology in which being introduced to us all, the cloud computing, in which we store our data towards the internet, towards the cloud. So like for example, if we are using a social media, all of our data are stored in the cloud, all of our videos are stored in the cloud, or all of the photos are stored in the cloud. So we have also here the system in which our Department of Health are using, like for example, the vaccination system, the registration for the vaccines. So they are also using the cloud computing, in which all of our data are being stored in the cloud. So it depends. It depends on what infrastructure that they are using. Probably they have a server on the government institution or the government office in which they are putting the servers there, or probably the servers are located in the cloud. So that's one of the vulnerable matter when it comes to the storing data in the cloud. So we have here what we call the public cloud, a commercial center of vast computing resources that are provided to the public on an on-demand basis in a metered fashion. So that's what we call the public cloud. We have also what we call the private cloud, a privately owned center of shared computing resources that are provided to the community members and on-demand basis in a metered fashion also. So the security and privacy measures are customized towards owners' needs. So that's the private cloud. So we have here what we call also the community cloud. So it is a community-owned center of vast computing resources that are provided to the community's members and on demand also in a metered fashion. So security and privacy measures are customized to the community needs. So the last one, we have also here the hybrid cloud. It is a combination of the above options. It could be public cloud, private cloud, a combination of both, or a combination of public and community, or private and community cloud. That's what we call the hybrid cloud. So in the recent technologies that we have, like just like the Tesla, so that's one of the most trending cars probably in the news. So we will discuss also what we call the automotive cybersecurity. So cyberspace is expanding and encompassing total unaffected domains, such as in the automotive industry and the motorist. It is a matter of time when automakers will be offering web in the car. So if you could just imagine what we call the web in the car, so as a standard features of a car. So that's one of the things that they are creating as of now, or they will be offering in the future, web in the car. So the motorist will simply insert a mobile telephone SIM card, and the vehicle will fill with Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi will come with a Pandora's box offering unprecedented features. So that's one of the expansion when it comes to cybersecurity or in the cyberspace. So they will automate those cars. So if you could just imagine, you could just your car will automatically drive by itself using the GPS. So those are different functions. So we have here the unprecedented features, or probably the features in which they will offer this automotive, or I mean the web in the car. So navigation support, in which you could automatically locate a location, or you could automatically locate a person, or you could automatically probably, for example, this in this pandemic, we are ordering our food through Grab or Food Panda, so they have also the navigation support. So we have also here the real-time road advisory. So when we say real-time road advisory, it will advise you if there's a traffic, if there's an accident, in which you could turn to some different directions, or you could turn or it could provide you a different path in which you could cross, or in which you could go to your location faster. So that also we have arrival of selected emails, emergency detection, and call for help. So those are the features that probably would be embedded in the automotive technology. So we have also here reporting in vehicles performance, reporting on drivers performance, unlimited entertainment options, voice recognition for identity and control, and remote access and sensing. So I have discussed these different types of features because all of these features pose as a threat when it comes to cybersecurity. Imagine you are just driving your car and automatically someone will control your car, or someone will probably control the what we call this, the tires, the brakes, the accelerators, the clutch. So that's one of the vulnerabilities when it comes to the automotive space, or automotive cyberspace. So we have also here basically the comfort of the living room and the efficiency of the office will be combined in the driver's seats. So driver's command and control center. So increased safety, efficiency, and entertainment comes a wide cyber attack surface. So to the joy of web hackers and cyber criminals, by definition, everything network, wired, or wirelessly is subject to hacking. So that's what I've said earlier. So everything is network. So they are wired or probably wireless. So they are subject to attack by hackers, or those persons who intrudes a system. So we have also here risk in cyberspace. So when we say risk in cyberspace, so with risk originating in cyberspace, so the personal computer is the first line of defense. Therefore, rigorous security measures need to be maintained for effective protection of the digital resources. So following rules could serve as a minimum guard against malware. So when we are in the cyberspace, there's a risk. So that's why we need to tackle more about cybersecurity. So the first line of defense when it comes to cyberspace is your personal computer. So because you are usually using your computer when it comes to data exchange. So rigorous security measures need to be maintained for effective protection of the digital resources. So we're going to discuss this one. So rule 1, first thing that you need to do is update software. So software developers provide on continuous basis of updated versions of their software. So incorporate together stronger defense against malware. So when we are using our computer, the first thing that we're going to do is to update our software. So the second rule that we need to do is to minimize content. So when we say minimize content, so we could minimize the amount of sensitive content we are storing in our laptop or in our notebook. So keeping these sensitive files in a web accessible server, and also they are also encrypted. So that's rule number 2. So rule number 3 is the admin account. So because you are the only users, so do not be the administrator at the same time. So an unattended communicator in the admin mode is totally unprotected. So the privileged administrator account should be used to install updates or softwares and reconfigure the host as needed. So we're going to review. So the rule number 1 is update the software. Rule number 2, minimize content on your computer or in your laptop or in your notebook, in your netbook. So rule number 3 is the admin account. Probably you should secure an admin account and probably use a user account when you are using your computer. So admin account will be used only for updating of software or installation of software or configuration of the host as needed. And number 4 is the compliance. So following compliance laws all or rules. So there's a risk also when it comes to mobile telephony. So in a few short years, the clutter that was on our desk has managed to fit in our palm. So we do not have anymore. We don't have an absolute need for PC with its CPU box or its monitor and its keyboard and mouse. So through the years, our cell phones, our mobile phones have evolved into a computer. So if you could just imagine, we are typing our documents in the computer. We are presenting our presentation on our cell phones. We are typing our notes in our cell phones. We are screencasting our videos using our cell phones to that flat screen TV. So those things had been evolving in using mobile phones. So there's a risk imposes in those things that had been evolved. So in addition, these devices are practically free, considering what they offer. The smartphone is the most modern. They treasure box that needs to be protected against cybercrime. So that has grown parallel to the internet evolution. So we have here, we're going to discuss the pillars of smartphone security. So it could be listed as followed. So we have here what we call the availability. So the smartphone must be available 24/7 because effectively it is an integral part of us. So it's like a brain. So it must be available 24/7. So we have also here integrity. So it must provide correct and accurate information based on based on the numerous applications that are continuously being installed. So that's one of the pillars of smartphone security. So we have the first one, the availability. The second one, the integrity. So for the third one, we have the confidentiality. So the smartphone must protect our privacy through reliable security measures. So also we have here what we call the authenticity. When used in our transactions, we must be reliably recognized. So also we have the non-repudiation. And so we are committed to a certain action by a smartphone communication. Neither side should later deny such commitment. So those are the pillars of smartphone security. So that's one of the things that we need to take notice when it comes to mobile security. So we have here what we call the predicting cybersecurity attacks. So when we say predicting security attacks, so these are the predictions when it comes to cybersecurity. So we have here the acceleration of cybersecurity attacks has made it possible for careful observers to make predictions, most of which have unfortunately come true. So predictors have developed algorithms, methodologies where the input components include the thorough knowledge of the organization's skills at the C-suite level. So when it comes to the C-level, those are higher levels when it comes to organization, probably the CEO, so the Chief Information Officer. So those are the C levels. So we have also here skills in the IT engine room. So probably those in-house IT. So we have they are the programmers, the system administrators, the network administrators, the database administrators, in order for them to predict cybersecurity attacks. So we have also here information system configuration. So we have also business operations, business continuity plan, dependency on external entities. In addition, inputted into this prediction algorithm is the current and project state of the art of malware technologies. So when we say a dependency on external entities, probably there are organizations in which you consult for your cybersecurity, or probably in the security when it comes to your information technology datas, or your infrastructures. So that's what we call the dependency on external entities. So the knowledge created out of this exercise helped us to better understand the organization's cybersecurity philosophy, critical areas vis-a-vis organizational objectives, cybersecurity exposure. So we have also here aftermath to a major cyber attack. So possible cyber defense abilities analysis like the above should be conducted in an organization on an annual basis. So we have the definition. We have here risk is a fundamental element of human life in the scene that that risk is always a factor in any situation where the outcome is precisely known. So in addition, the necessarily calculations that we make about the probability of some form of harm resulting in action that we take are generally a given in our decision processes. So whether the risk assessment involves decision about a major corporate initiative or just making a decision to walk down the street, so we are always anticipating, identifying, and evaluating the potential risk involved. In that respect, we can be said to be constantly managing risk in everything we do. So when there's a risk, we could probably manage the risk. We could create a risk assessment so that those risks will be minimal or will be calculated. So you have there when it comes to cybersecurity. So we have web attacks, lawsuits, cyber espionage, backdoors, cyber attacks. So we have there the denial of service. So those are the risks when it comes to the internet or in the cyberspace. So you could try to screenshot that one. Okay, we're going with our next slide. So what are the top cybersecurity challenges? So when it comes to cybersecurity, there are many challenges that hurdles us. So because the technology or the skills of the hackers also evolves. When there's a new technology that it is being presented, so for example, there's a virus and then there's an antivirus that being developed for that. So probably that virus will be contained because there's a new antivirus that is being developed or being created by programmers or those organizations that sells antivirus. So hackers also evolve their skills. So they also evolve. They study, they research so that they could create another they could create, or they have a new knowledge in which they could attack an organization, or in which they could intrude an organization network. So their skills also evolve, and it keeps on going up. So here, the cybersecurity challenges. So it is continually challenged by hackers, data loss, privacy, risk management, and changing cybersecurity strategies. So cybersecurity is not always being challenged by hackers, but also we have here data loss, we have here privacy, we have risk management, and changing cybersecurity strategies. So the number of cyber attacks is not expected to decrease in the near future. So moreover, increased entry points for attacks, such as with the arrival of the Internet of Things, increase the need to secure networks and devices. So we are going to the next slide. So one of the most problematic element of cybersecurity is the evolving nature of security risk. So as new technology emerges and as new technology is used in a new or different ways, a new attack avenues are being developed. So if you could imagine, no, if you could just imagine, there's a new technology, but there is also a new attack avenue in which they are being developed. So they are parallel with each other. When we say new technology, so probably there's a parallel new attack. So keeping up with these frequent changes and uh, advance in attack, as well as updating practices to protect against them, can be challenging. Issues includes ensuring all elements of cybersecurity are continually updated to protect against potential vulnerabilities. So this can be especially difficult for smaller organizations without the staff or in-house resources. So, so this type of practices or protection that an organization is developing is very difficult for a smaller organization. So what if a small organization does not have IT? So most of the time, we have like ticketing office. So they have their office staff, but they don't have their in-house IT or information technology officer, in which their network would be secure, or your data will be protected, or probably someone could probably respond if there's a problem, or if there's in case of attack. So that's one of the major problem for smaller organization. So additionally, organizations can gather a lot of potential data on individuals who use one or more of their service. With more data being collected, and the likelihood of a cyber criminal who wants to steal personally identified information, PII, is another concern. For example, an organization that stores personal identifiable information in the cloud may be subject to ransomware attack. Organizations should do what they can to prevent a cloud breach. So when we say an individual who uses one or more of the service, so probably you are using for example, if there's a social media site, for example, Facebook, you have many Facebook accounts. So you could be a target for what do you call that, identity theft. So someone will post as you. So because you have what your data is being gathered, more data is being gathered from you. So a cyber criminal who wants to steal your data probably will attack your Facebook account or your social media account. So cybersecurity programs should also address end users education, as employees might accidentally bring virus in the workplace. So on their laptops or in their mobile devices, regular security awareness training will help employees do their part in keeping their company safe from cyber threats. So another challenge also to cybersecurity includes a shortage of qualified cybersecurity personnel. So as the amount of data collected and used by business grows, the need for cybersecurity staff to analyze, manage, and respond to incidents also increases. So an estimated the workplace gap between the need of cybersecurity jobs and security professionals at 3.1 million. So if you if you could just imagine if there are no cybersecurity staffs on your organization, it would be very difficult for you to protect your data and information. So the sensible information or those datas that that is very highly priced for the organization. So that's the disadvantage when you don't have a cybersecurity personnel on your organization. So I hope most of the organizations here have their IT team or their IT department in which they could focus when it comes to the security of the network of the organization, or they could stop any potential attack. So that's one of the advantage having those types of persons in an organization. So how is automation used in cybersecurity? So automation has become an integral component to keep companies protected from the growing number of sophistication of cyber attacks. Using artificial intelligence and machine learning in areas with high volume data streams that can help improve cybersecurity. High volume data streams that can help improve cybersecurity in three main categories. So we have here what we call the threat detection. AI platforms can analyze data, recognize known threats, as well as predict novel threats. We have also here what we call the threat response. AI platforms also create and automatically enact as security protections. Also, we have also human augmentation. Security pros are often overloaded with alerts and repetitive tasks, so AI can help eliminate alert fatigue by automatically triaging low-risk alarms and automating big data analysis on other repetitive tasks, freeing humans for more sophisticated tasks. So other benefits of automation in cybersecurity includes attack classification, malware classification, traffic analysis, compliance analysis, and more. So when we say assets communication, this is also one of the vulnerabilities when it comes to cybersecurity or cyberspace. So the access or transfer of digital information poses a vulnerability, exposing information to risk. However, such risk can be minimized if appropriate precautions are eliminated. So it is stated there, if proper precautions are implemented or proper security measures have been installed into your organization, into your system, or in your in your digital platform, so those risks can be minimized. So these precautions also includes encryption. So one of the precautions and security features that could be included in your system is encryption. We have also firewalls, so one of the most common. So a new one here, we have here digital certificates. So we have also here one of the things that most of us have been using, or I think most in the government agencies have been using, what we call the digital signatures and login controls. So for the encryption method aims at ensuring the confidentiality, integrity, and non-repudiation of information. So you could see there, the sender, it's the original file. This is the non-encrypted text. So after encrypting the original file by using the algorithm, so the encrypted file will be it will be sent to the cloud. So the encrypted file will travel, and then the algorithm will come in again and decrypt the original file, and the recipient or the person that will receive the data or the file will be receiving the data, but it is encrypted, and a secure data has been sent to that person because of the encryption key. So we have also here what we call firewalls. So firewalls have been the backbone of data security. So firewalls have been installed through various systems, to various organizations, to it may be a physical software or a software installed in a dedicated hardware. So firewalls can also be what we call a hardware. So there are devices which serves as a firewall. So like the PFSense hardware. So the PFSense hardware has a capability to be a firewall on your network. So we could see that the firewall serve as a gatekeeper attached to the system's communication. So examining the external traffic in a predetermined security criteria. So we have also here digital certificate. So a digital certificate, also known as a public key certificate or identity certificate, is to cyberspace what a credit card is to commerce. In the case of credit card, a third party, that is the credit card issuing company, vouches on the worthiness of the card. That's the digital certificate. So for example, at TESDA usually sends their certificate digitally. So they vouch the worthiness of the certificate by I mean they vouch the worthiness of the certificate on their on the certificate itself. They include the link in which you could vouch the certificate if it's legit or not. So that's the importance of firewall. So it's just a graphic representation of a firewall. So for the digital certificate authority, so the sends the browser website credentials. So there's a request. So website request credentials. So by using the browser, so that's the flow when sending a digital certificate. We have also here digital signatures. So a company's files that are encrypted as well as files that are not encrypted. The digital signature of a file is generated through the convolution of the files over a certain function, creating a unique key. So most of our certificates here had been digitally signed. So there's a webinar, I guess, on the PNPKI digital signature. So you could try to look that one for you to learn more about digital signatures. So we have also here what we call the login controls. Login controls access to resources. Access to resources and access to information asset, in particular, requires tangible controls that are verifiable and auditable. Okay, we're going to proceed with the next slide. So here are, so we are nearing the end of our PowerPoint presentation. So we could discuss now the benefits of cybersecurity. So business protection against cyber attacks and breaches. So when we say business protection against cyber attacks and data breaches, so mostly if your organization is well equipped with cybersecurity measures, probably it will not hamper your business operations. So it will not stop your business operations. For example, if you're a call center company, so it will not hamper the operations of that company by if there's in case there's an attack, because you minimize the attack, or you eliminate the risk of an attack. So also protection for data and networks. So prevention of unauthorized user access. So most of the times hackers usually does this, the unauthorized user access. So if there's a good security measures or security features on your system, so those type of attack will be eliminated. So improve recovery time after a breach, protection for end users and endpoint devices. So we have also here business continuity. So improve confidence in the company's reputation and trust for developer partners, customers, stakeholders, and employees. So if you could imagine, if your organization or your business have this type of security features, so most of the time, stakeholders, partners, and customers, you gain their trust on your organization or on what service you are offering, because your system is secured and all of the data of the customers or the stakeholders are secured. So cybersecurity vendors and tools. So if you could if there's a question there that where we could include our cybersecurity in our organization, so we have these types of tools or vendors that they are offering cybersecurity measures on your organization. We have the identity and access management, so firewalls. We have the endpoint protection, anti-malware, intrusion prevention, detection systems, so data loss prevention. So we have here endpoint detection and response, security information and event management. We have also the encryption tools. We have the vulnerability scanners. So we have here one of the most, I think they are all of you are familiar with. We have what we call the private virtual networks, cloud workload protection platform, cloud access security broker. So IT professionals and other computer specialists are needed in security roles. So here are the IT professionals or security roles that must be present in your organization. If you want your organization, all of your data must, all of the data in your organization is secure, or you would eliminate the risk or minimize the risk. So these are the persons that, or the specialist that is needed in your organization. The CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer. So he is he is the individual who implements the security program across all the organization and oversees the IT security department operation. We have here the Chief Security Office is the executive responsible for the physical and or cybersecurity of a company. We have also security engineers. We have security architects and responsible for planning, security analysts. We have what we have here is pen tester, so penetration testers are ethical hackers who test the security of the system, network, and application, seeking vulnerability that could be exploited by malicious persons or actors. So that's what we call pen testers. So we have also here threat hunters or threat analysts who aim to uncover vulnerabilities and attacks and mitigate them before they compromise a business. So those are the persons or the IT professionals that you must consider if you have a business or if they are present in your business, so that all of the organization's data and resources is well protected. So that's it for the cybersecurity part 2. So thank you again for attending this webinar. I hope you will attend more webinars, or you will attend our future webinars. So I guess we are ready for the next part of this webinar, the open forum. So we will just ask Ms. Red.
Thank you very much, Sir Philip, for that informative discussion about cybersecurity part 2. The best way to secure our online accounts is to keep learning and stay informed. Hence, we are so grateful and we really appreciate webinars like this. Sir Philip, before we get into the next segment or session of this webinar, first, I would like to encourage our online participants, if you are liking this webinar so far, and to show our appreciation to our expert speaker, Sir Philip, can we give a virtual heart reaction, all right? Or a virtual clap like so, or thumbs up, right? So however you want to, however you want to express your appreciation for attending this webinar, we would love to know. All right. All right. And also, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our virtual audience who are joining us today. Good afternoon to you, Sir Marvin. Thank you for joining us in this webinar. Same to Sir Jeremy Rubino. We have Sir Isidore Tagnia. Good afternoon. Miss Rachel Hereño, hello there. Nico, good afternoon. All right. And we have here Sir Al Villanueva from the Division of Kabankalan. Thank you for joining us, sir. Hello and good day, everyone. We have Junji Magada who is joining us through the YouTube channel, watching here at Pontevedra National High School. Thank you, sir. Can you please give us a virtual heart reaction if you are still with us? And we have here Miss Jude Preal Ayala, Sir Junji Magada. Okay. Jude Preal Ayala, I have already pronounced that one. Announced the name. Mabel Piodos Amodia. Tahir Kader of joining from Pakistan. Wow, we are so international. Thank you. We have here Sir Greg Bancalo. Hello there again, Sir Greg. And thank you for always supporting NOLITC webinars. We have here Miss Ilza Penes. Good afternoon to you, Miss Ilza. Now, again, we are in our open forum segment, and at this session we will be entertaining questions from our virtual audience. At the same time, we have here Sir Philip who will be answering those questions. Are you ready?
Yes, miss.
All right, so let us start with this first question. How do I know if an application is safe? That's the first question.
Yes, so the question is, how would you know if an application is safe? So the first thing that you're going to do is probably you could ask yourself. So you could ask yourself what this application do. So you could try to research what is the developer or the company's website, who's the developer of the application. And then you could try to check also what the other applications they have made, or it is ready online. So you could try to check also if you want to install an app, if there are reviews towards the app. So also it is, I think for me, it is very secure if you want to download the app. Specifically, you always check you always check the app in the App Store. So for me, it is safe if the app is available on the App Store, because they also have precautionary measures when it comes to uploading of the app and then downloading in the App Store. For example, the Play Store, the iStore. So those apps that are that are available there is secure. So that's how to know if an app is safe.
Very good answer, Sir Philip. Ask yourself first how this is going
Yes,
to be
ma'am.
useful for me. In relation to that question, may I also ask which one is more safer, the iOS or the Android?
So as far as my experience, iOS has many security features in which it is not present in the Android, so, or in the Play Store. So for me, it is safe. The platform that is more safe for me is the iOS,
All right.
because it includes many security features in their system.
Exactly. Thank you for that clarification. So, for our virtual audience right there, would you care to inform us? Let us know. Are you using iOS or the Android? All right. And let's, okay, we will wait for your answers. I'll see and read your answers later. Now we go to our question number 2. And for this question, here, am I in trouble if my mobile device gets stolen?
So yes, that's a good question. So the first thing is, if you could remember, if your mobile has been if the time came that your mobile has been stolen, and then if you had just remembered that your mobile, the setup of your phone, the setup of the security features of your phone is limited, so you are in trouble. So because mostly if you don't have any security features installed to your phone, mostly all of your data will be easily open. So they could open your messages, they could open your contacts. Probably they could open your messenger if if you haven't set up your cell phone to be secure.
Exactly.
So that's the problem if your mobile device is stolen and yet you don't have any security features that installed in your system beforehand, or in your cell phone beforehand.
Yes. If it's stolen or get lost completely. So
Yes.
imagine the immense danger it would have been if we don't have proper security features in our phones, because um, our videos, our pictures and other pertinent information stored in our phones will be easily accessible. Yep. So your advice, Sir Philip, is to.
Is my advice for those my advice when it comes to mobile phone handling is probably install more security features, or
Mhm.
probably use a fingerprint. You could use
Mhm.
sensors or facial recognitions,
Correct.
and choose a complex password when it comes to opening your cell phones or your mobile phones.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for that tip.
Yes,
Okay.
miss.
Let's proceed to our third question. And it says, what are the biggest cybersecurity threats right now? Okay.
As of now, the two biggest cybersecurity threats present is social engineering and ransomware. So when it comes to social engineering, we have different categories. We have phishing, we have uh, we have the denial of service. So for social
Mhm.
engineering, there are many categories. So we have they have there the phishing, emails as scareware. So they
Mhm.
have these types of attacks. So that's what we call social engineering. We have their identity theft. So
Mhm.
for the ransomware is a data encrypting program. So for
Mhm.
example, if your system is attacked by a ransomware, so you could not access your data. So you need to pay them for you to access those data. So if you could just imagine all of your data are being attacked, so
Yes.
they are asking you money in order for you
Mhm.
to access back your data.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's really too scary, right? And it's really happening because we can see those things happening, being reported on TVs, and we can read it in our social
Yes, miss.
social media. So it's really happening, right? And thank you for that answer. Let's move on to number four question. Okay, and the fourth question is password protection enough to secure my device? How do I encrypt my device?
So for as far as I know, I think you could not encrypt the device, but you could
Mhm.
encrypt the data you are sending to the other person or to the
Right.
receiver. So you could encrypt the data that you want to send to the receiver. And for the
Mhm.
password protection, I think it's when you say password protection, it depends what kind of password that you are using. Probably the most safest way of when it comes to password, so it could be combination of numeric keys, alphabets, numbers, special characters. So I think for that, that's enough protection if you create a unique password in which you
Mhm.
include a combination of different characters. So
Mhm.
that's I think is safe. And for the encryption of the device, as what I've said, so you could not encrypt a device, but you
Yeah.
could encrypt the data that you are sending from your device.
Mhm. Yes. Can you encrypt the messages or files that you send through Messenger?
I don't know if the Facebook has that
Mm.
feature, but for me, Messenger as of now sends file not larger than 25 MB.
Mhm.
So one of the things that you could do is to compress the file and then
Right.
encrypt the file by using
Mhm.
an encryption key in which
Mhm.
no one could open that unless they have the key to open the
Right.
file.
Right. Exactly. That's a really good point. Thank you, sir. And okay, let's proceed to our last question for today. And it says, how can identity theft be prevented?
So how can identity theft be prevented?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the most important technique when it comes to identity theft is to not show your personal information. I mean, when we say show, I mean do not always show your personal information on the internet, because all of those sensible information that you are sharing on the internet could be used by the attacker. So, for example, you've posted so many Facebook, so many pictures. So
Yes.
probably that's a target for the attacker to grab those pictures and then upload
Mhm.
that to its to his profile. So to his what do you call that, a duplicate profile of yours. So those things are they could be used for fraudulent purposes. Like, for example, you posted a set of pictures, or the things that you do, or probably where you have been, or anything that anything that has involved within you. So probably the hacker could probably think, they could just they are prepared when it comes to
Mhm.
those things. So
Yeah.
minimal the use of minimal the sharing of sensible information or your personal
Mhm.
information.
That's true, because their intent really is to do something bad, right? So they would do everything, post pictures and duplicate your account so that they could extort, no, from your personal contacts. Have you ever experienced identity theft, sir?
Yes, miss. So, actually, I've experienced
Mhm.
identity theft this weekend. So, someone created a account in which he duplicates my name, but
Mhm.
he cannot. He is wrong with my password, but he duplicates my profile picture. He
Mhm.
duplicates my cover photo, and then he
Mhm.
chatted one of our relatives. So he asked for money, or he asked for the GCash. So
Mhm.
the good thing there is my relative is well aware of that scheme. So he
Mhm.
immediately reports the Facebook account, and then he immediately asked me if there's
Mhm.
a person pretending to be me. So we've discovered that there's a person who created
Mhm.
Facebook and imitates to be me and asking for
Wow,
money.
that's really not good. And what is the most effective way to report identity theft?
So for social media, I guess when someone imposes as you, so you could
Mhm.
report the profile picture, the profile of the
Profile.
person
Mhm.
who imitates you. So
Mhm.
the more reports from your friends or from
Mhm.
your relatives in the Facebook, so the Facebook will automatically take down that fake account or a
Mhm.
duplicate. The one who imitates you. So it's
Yep.
very good to
To
mass
report. Mhm.
report the account.
Yes, exactly. And soon after you find out that somebody tries to duplicate your account or creates a new account on behalf of you, you have to um, inform your friends, your peers, so that they would know in case, no, if they that hacker will try to contact them and ask for money and such.
Yes, miss.
Mhm. Right. And that's actually the last part of our open forum segment. And before we end this session, do you have any parting message to our audience?
Once again, thank you for attending this webinar entitled
Mhm.
Cybersecurity Part 2. So tune in to our Facebook page to be updated for more webinars to come. So
Mhm.
again, once again, thank you and good afternoon. Thank you, Miss
Thank
Red.
you. Thank you so much, Sir Philip, for
Thank
spending
you.
this productive afternoon with us. We would like to express our profound appreciation to our expert speaker, Sir John Philip Bautista, for having this webinar Cybersecurity Part 2. These discussions have made us all aware how to navigate safely in the internet. Shall we give him a virtual round of applause? And please do not forget to send some virtual reactions. We would really love to see that. As for the province of Negros Occidental, through our Governor Eugenio Sebang Lacson, the center continues to deliver responsive gender and development programs. And to conclude this event with a hopeful note, let us hear from the very passionate, hardworking, and supportive provincial GAD focal point person, Miss Mary John P. Castro.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you and congratulations to all involved in the conduct of this GAD webinar. To our resource person, we truly appreciate your sharing of your time and insights in today's episode of the GAD Webinar Series 2021, organized by the Negros Occidental Language and Information Technology Center. Our participants are indeed blessed and privileged to be able to hear your inputs. NOLITC is living up to its title as one of our GAD champions, a multi-awarded institution that not only inspires but also cares for the trainees and their families and the larger community as well. By coming up with this webinar, NOLITC has indeed recognized that all issues are women's issues, that the COVID-19 pandemic will not stop us from addressing issues that matters, especially if they affect our youth, our children, who are considered our future. We thank NOLITC for providing a safe way of educating our constituents. As the Action Officer of the Provincial GAD Focal Point System, I join my fellow GAD advocates in telling our young Negrenses that you are important, you are loved, not only by your family, but also by your provincial government. Thank you and congratulations to all. Avance, Negrense.
Thank you very much to our GAD Focal Point System Action Officer, Ma'am Marijan P. Castro. Moreover, we would like to thank our active participants again for tuning in up to the end of this webinar. I also would like to emphasize how you can get a certificate for this webinar. Please provide us your evaluation through the link provided in the description bar below. Please do it right now. All right, you may scan a QR code flash on your screen, and that will be open until 6 o'clock this evening. Your email address should be typed in correctly, and be careful with the spelling of your email address so it won't bounce back. Please also be careful with the spelling of your complete names. The evaluation site again will be open until 6 o'clock this evening. Thank you so much. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being with us in this another productive discussion of NOLITC Tech4ED Webinar 15. Please join us again in another productive discussion next week on November 27. Okay, or November 22 rather. We will have animation webinar series. That's webinar 18. If you have been following our 2D animation webinars, it's a great chance for you to learn and earn a free digital certificate. See you in the same platform that you are currently using. You should be able to receive a link through your emails. The center, together with the provincial government of Negros Occidental, join the country's efforts in encouraging safety and protection for everyone. So please get vaccinated now, or get in touch with your local health units on how to get an appointment for your vaccination. This is Red again, leaving you with this gentle reminder to stay safe and take care. NOLITC inspire, NOLITC cares. Avance, Negrense.
Woo!
Magpabakuna na para abanse ka. Ini ang inyo gobernador Bong Lacson nagahinyo sa tanan nga Negrense nga magpabakuna na